Your Chanel cosmetics, 80% are made in China and cost only $5. They just add the logo in France and charge you 10 to 40 times the price. Close your eyes. If your Chanel cosmetics says made in China, will it feel cheaper? It's not about quality, it's about brainwashing. Interesting fact, who makes Chanel cosmetics? 42% are crafted by Chinese artisans. We don't do cheap goods, we do understand luxury.
I think it's really funny that people are surprised about all the tea that China is dropping with the luxury brands. How really the purses, shoes, everything that's being made is really actually made with affordable items, and then when they slap the brand on it, it all of a sudden racks it up like hundreds, thousands of dollars. It's one of the reasons why I'm not very big on buying like super big name brand things, because I know that this is the case. Like,
my For You page has been completely taken over by Chinese factories, and I'm here for it. They are straight up saying, "Buck your government, here's the tea. Here is how much things actually cost. This is where they are actually made." And I'm talking luxury brands, okay? You're telling me that my Lululemon Align pants that I pay over $100 for, I can buy straight from the factory for $5.
That's why there will be 104% tariffs going into effect on China tonight.
But how are they going to get their hats?
Would anybody like a hat?
Hey, besties. Grab your matcha, your iced coffee, or whatever keeps your teacup full. Because today, we're diving into one of the most unhinged but totally expected global dramas of the year. Buckle up, because China is spilling the luxury tea and dragging some of your favorite designer brands into the mess. Yes, you heard that right. China's suppliers are coming with receipts, and they are not holding back. Oh, and did I mention that Americans are now being invited for 280 hours of tax-free shopping in China? Yep. This is a capitalist plot twist you didn't see coming.
So, I'm here gonna just hop on this Chinese manufactured TikTok trend. The price they're giving out is pretty accurate. I mean, a lot of stuff is really cheap. Thinking about that, like Walmart, Costco, those t-shirts you're getting, you spend $20, most likely made in China, about like $1 or maybe 50 cents. So whenever you go to China, travel, all that kind of stuff, you don't even need to bring like suitcases. You don't need to bring any check-in cases. You just go there and buy whatever you need and put them in a package box. As long as you not go over like 50 pounds, you'll be fine. Just declare that as a personal use. You can get the makeups, t-shirts, bags, all that kind of stuff. Just personal use. That's fine. Yes, all this stuff are made by Chinese peasants. I wonder if Jerry Vance, why that guy have eyeliners? I mean, if MAGA people are so tough, why he put makeup? I mean, is he a pirate?
FYP is full of these videos from China just sharing how they manufacture luxury goods and how they're trying to just go straight to the consumers now, and they don't even want to work with these brands, it seems like. I'm surprised more people didn't know that they'll, like, for example, if they're doing like a luxury bag, they'll probably make the majority of the bag in China, and then they'll ship it back to whatever country it is, and then in that country, they'll either add some finishing touches or they'll add their logo or some sort of something, right? They'll add something. So that allows them to be able to write made in Italy or made in America. Not 100% made in America, and I'm surprised more people don't know that, but like the quality for China products are just as good. We always had this assumption that China goods are not good, but it's all propaganda at this point, and all I see right now is that China is going to keep growing and surpassing all the other countries. This is a long time coming because for a really long time, a lot of people looked down on China, but now more people are traveling to China and seeing the reality of the situation, which I think is amazing because the tides turn, I guess.
I think it's really funny that people are surprised about all the tea that China is dropping with the luxury brands. How really the purses, shoes, everything that's being made is really actually made with affordable items, and then when they slap the brand on it, it all of a sudden racks it up like hundreds, thousands of dollars. It's one of the reasons why I'm not very big on buying like super big name brand things, because I know that this is the case. Like, they're using cheap ass shit, or even just like affordable but well made, and then slapping a label on it and hiking up the price. And you can easily buy a no-name brand and have the same stuff. About 15 years ago, I used to work at a company named Shears as a temp. I just worked during the summer because I was going to school in Portland, and then I would come back home and just do work throughout the summer. It's basically, or was basically, because it's burned down now, a potato chip company. I was always in the portion that did packaging. And what's crazy to me was the fact that the packaging, like the bags, were these giant rolls of plastic, basically, with the labels already on it. And as the chips are being enveloped, it just gets cut off, and that's what makes the bag. Once the bag would run out, they would just replace it with a different roll, but this time it would be a different brand. Usually, like, we would start off with, let's say, Doritos for the label, and then all of a sudden it's the great value version. So really, there is no difference within the chip. It's just the bag itself. Like, you're literally paying just for the extra ink that is on the bag roll. So if you ever come to my house, you're mostly gonna see just generic brand shit, because of the fact that I'm not paying extra for nothing, for no difference in quality.
So first, let's rewind the drama. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance made some seriously tone-deaf and disrespectful comments, referring to Chinese factory workers as peasants. It was giving colonial energy, and global Twitter and TikTok were not having it. Like, how are you gonna insult the people who make half the products your citizens use daily? TikTok went wild, of course. Duets, stitches, and reactions from Chinese influencers started pouring in. Many saying, "Okay, peasant this," while standing in front of factories making your fave Chanel and Gucci bags. The clapback was swift, surgical, and honestly iconic.
You know what my favorite thing was to come out of all of the Trump tariffs? That China was like, okay, tariffs, got it. But also, all of your luxury shit, like Hermes, is made in China. And then it's shipped back so that that luxury brand can like put a tag on it. All of your shit's made in China. I'm not a luxury guy. Like, I like nice things, but I've never been one to like go out and spend thousands on something stupid, like a handbag for clout, cause I'm a boy. Anyways, different topic. I love the fact that China chose to retaliate by dishing the tea. Like, everybody that thought that they were getting these luxury brands were just products of like a huge assembly line. Like, I love it! Seriously, a $300,000 handbag? Are you kidding me? We're such an image-based society here in America. I'm glad that happened. I wonder what that resale value is gonna be now. Beauty's on the inside, mofos.
One of its factory in Dongguan. What even surprised me is that it owned an independent brand called YY Sport. It's like a distributor for sports shoes like Nike and Adidas. Same as like Foot Locker in America. And
y'all sorry sons of bitches owe me a fucking apology. I made a video about a month ago talking about all the shoes I got from factories overseas and how I spent a quarter of the price, and y'all were saying I was fake and like, you know, I'm just, you know, buying fake shoes and yada yada yada. Now China's saying, yeah, motherfucker, the shoes that you get from Foot Locker come for our factories and you're paying for overpriced shit. Like I fucking said. Check this shit out. I'm wearing my SB Dunk Shark 2s. These cost me like $35 from a fucking factory in China. StockX is selling the same fucking shoes that I got for $40 for $322. And the thing I don't understand is when people say, oh, these are the real ones, but the ones I have on are fake. How do you, like, what does it mean to be fake? Because when it comes down to it, a lot of y'all think if y'all buy it from certain places, oh, that legitimizes it. But y'all don't fucking realize the way this shit works in America, the reason why they have these big brands and big labels and shit like that is for you to think they're legitimate when they're really fucking not. Just think about it for a second. If these shoes that I have on, if the same fucking big ass companies can get it from overseas, I paid 40. Let's say hypothetically, because they buy them in bulk, they can get it for 20. Why would they have their own separate factories or do all their own separate shit if they can get the same products for half the price that I already paid or that they're already selling them for? That doesn't make sense. Like, I guess people think that they have these specialty factories or these specialty places that they get the stuff from. No, like, why would they do that? Why would they spend more money to have their own stuff when they can just pay a quarter of the price at a fucking factory and fucking charge 1,000% for Americans, and then we'll pay for that shit? Y'all can try to be elitist all you want to. I got plugs that I can get everything I want. I guess about a handful of shoes I'm gonna get, that I'm done buying shoes. But I saw fucking motherfuckers on here that were selling fucking Tide Pods. Motherfucker, I'm about to spend $200 and buy Tide Pods and never have to buy laundry detergent again. So y'all can be fake elitists all you want to and fucking spend 1,000% over market price for shit so you can have the legitimate stuff. Me, look, I'm getting my shit direct from China and I'm loving it.
Now here's where things get juicy. Chinese factory suppliers, many of whom have stayed anonymous or low-key for years, started pulling back the curtain on how luxury works. And spoiler alert, your $3,000 LV tote? It probably costs less than $50 to make. Yeah. These factories are saying that brands like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, Hermes, and even Lululemon all manufacture many of their goods in China, using the same materials, labor, and processes as the replicas or dupes you see on Dhgate and Alibaba. One whistleblower even said, the only difference between a $40 Dhgate bag and a $4,000 Chanel is a label, a certificate, and a plane ticket to Paris. That's not just tea. That's a spilled Vendi iced caramel macchiato with oat milk.
The Chinese takedown of luxury goods is wild right now because luxury goods are a huge source of soft power for the West. Soft power is power through things like culture, music, even language. Like US TV shows, that's a form of soft power because it makes the US aspirational and desirable in some ways. So with luxury brands, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, these Birkins, it creates this aspiration for the West, or aspiration to be European in a way, showing that Europe is this gold standard of quality. But when China's revealing that 80% of anything you buy that's Gucci is made in China, that over 60% of anything that you buy from Prada is made in China, that the only difference is that they send it over to Europe and then they stitch on a made in France or made in Italy little label, it's the ultimate pulling the curtain on the wizard in the Wizard of Oz and showing that there actually is no real magic and power in the person who's controlling Oz. I think it's going to be really interesting because there is such a stigma of something that's made in China. There's this perception of lesser quality in the West, but when you reverse that paradigm, when you show that all these goods that you thought were better because they came from Italy or France or wherever, when actually, in actuality, it comes from China, you're forcing consumers to reckon with why they make choices. So if consumers are going to start questioning the perceived worth of luxury goods, consumers are going to then realize that luxury brands are just high markup middlemen. They're just peddling an idea of something versus an actual quality good. And you can just then cut them out and go to the source. And so I think what China is doing right now, by shifting this perception of soft power, by taking back soft power, by showing real power in infrastructure and manufacturing, we're going to see a real flip in a lot of things, whether it comes to labor market, whether it comes to manufacturing, whether it comes to who buys luxury goods and perception of luxury as well. And so, I don't know, I'm just in it for the ride here.
My For You page has been completely taken over by Chinese factories, and I'm here for it. They are straight up saying, fuck your government, here's the tea. Here is how much things actually cost. This is where they are actually made. And I'm talking luxury brands, okay? You're telling me that my Lululemon Align pants that I pay over $100 for, I can buy straight from the factory for $5. Even with paying the 100% tariffs on those products, it's still significantly cheaper to just buy from the factory. Another thing that I'm being pushed are Chinese cars. The fuck? They have completely surpassed us in technology and comfortability. Like, I'm looking at these videos, I am blown away by all of the features of these cars. Why do we not have that here? This is wild. I love it. Keep them coming.
So here's the problem. Trump-era tariffs and the new rounds being proposed are jacking up the prices for imported goods. We're talking everything from skincare and shoes to electronics and groceries. But guess who eats the cost? Not the brands. It's you, bestie. The average American shopper is now paying 20 to 30% more for the same stuff they could have gotten way cheaper, just because it crossed a border. This is where China steps in with that genius-level shade. They're offering American tourists 280 hours. That's like 11 days of duty-free, tariff-free luxury shopping. You can fly in, grab your bags, electronics, skincare, and bounce. No middlemen, no tariffs, no BS. Just wholesale prices with the same quality.
What a week it's been with Trump's fuck about and find out tariffs. Do you know what my favourite bit was? My favourite bit was when all the Chinese suppliers took en masse to social media and exposed the luxury goods market for what they really are. Because you know that Chanel handbag that you spent $5,000 on, that you love to tell me that you spent $5,000 on, and I'm like, looks exactly like the £40 one you can get on the market, and you're like, no, it's different. Look at the stitching. And I'm looking at the stitching, and I'm like, no, it looks the same. It honestly, it looks the same. And you're like, no, it's Chanel. It's special. And I'm like, okay, it looks the same to me. Yeah, it turns out it is the same. It's the exact same fucking bag as the £40 bag that you bought off the market. But for some reason, people seem to think that if it's Chanel or Dior or Givenchy or whatever the fuck, that there's some kind of like magical cottage somewhere in France or Bavaria or Liechtenstein or something. And it's all run by like little fairy woodland creatures, and some milliners, they make hats, it's the same thing, like goes, and the cows just appear and then they shed their skin but don't die because it's Chanel, it's special. They don't die. They're not horrifically butchered so that we can wear shoes and have handbags and pretty things. So, you know, the cows don't die, but they shed their skins, and then some magic is woven and all the leaves turn into thread, and then it's sewed up by the little birds and the squirrels and the woodland creatures. No, it's exactly the same as the £40 one on the market. It's been proven. All the Chinese manufacturers have talked about their confidentiality agreements that they have with these high brand luxury goods, because they don't give a fuck anymore. Because Trump fucked around, and now we're all finding out the secrets that I've been gaslit for years, because I was like, I think it looks the same. I had to buy someone some Lululemon leggings once. They were like 120 quid. I buy my leggings for £6 from Tesco. They're amazing. High-waisted, because I've got a small waist but chunky thighs. Those Lululemon leggings are £6. I didn't actually spend full price. I got them off Vinted and then just made it look like they were new. But that's because I would never spend that much money on a pair of leggings when I could get, I can't do math, but many pairs of £6 leggings for that price. So yeah, that was my favourite bit. And all the makeup as well, all the makeup. And I've been saying this for years. I've been saying all the makeup is manufactured elsewhere because all the companies outsource it so that they can't be done for testing on animals. Because you can't have makeup that's not tested on animals. It's a con, but they outsource it. It's a loophole. Anyway, I just feel vindicated. Vindicated? Because I was right. And I've been gaslit. And now we know. It's made in fucking China. Also, I'm aware of the irony that I'm saying all this in front of Versace wallpaper, but I have no idea if it's real Versace. I bought it off the market. I bought it because it's disgusting. It's so disgustingly chaotic and in your face that I love it and it makes me happy. I don't care about the little logo, although I do like Medusa. I buy stuff because I like it. I don't buy it so that I can show off that I can afford something, because that's just gross. You could take that money and do something really good with it, like give it to a charity or something, instead of wearing a name across your chest. And I'm not judging you, although I am, but those brands don't care about you. They've been lying to you. They've been charging you like 90% markups. They don't care about you. Do something better with your money, and just buy your clothes in Matalan, because at least they're honest about the fact that everything's made in China. Ugh, my virtue signaling is off the charts. I'm just a bit smug, okay?
Let's talk Dhgate. For years, it's been labeled as the dupe or fake site. But what many people don't realize is that a lot of the items sold there are made in the same factories as luxury goods. They're just the extras, overruns, or unbranded versions. One supplier even said, "We fulfill orders for both Gucci and Dhgate in the same building." Like, what? And while brands pretend their items are crafted in Italy by a single artisan, the real story is that many of these products are mass-produced in Southeast Asia, with profit margins that would make your jaw drop. So is Dhgate fake, or are we just being manipulated by billion-dollar marketing machines? Now let's step back. What does all this say about the way luxury operates? It's all about illusion, class status, and gatekeeping. Brands rely on the idea that you can't get their items unless you're rich, connected, or spending recklessly. But if the items are all made in the same place, with the same materials, what are we actually paying for? The drama with JD Vance just opened Pandora's box. By insulting Chinese workers, it gave Chinese suppliers the perfect excuse to go public and drag luxury brands with them. And honestly, the timing couldn't be more iconic.
Your Chanel cosmetics, 80% are made in China and cost only $5. They just add the logo in France and charge you 10 to 40 times the price. Close your eyes. If your Chanel cosmetics says made in China, will they feel cheaper? It's not about quality, it's about brand washing. Interesting fact, who makes Chanel cosmetics? 42% are crafted by Chinese artisans. We don't do cheap goods, we do understand luxury.
I know for a fact that if my name wasn't written on the side of this bag and I wore this out and about, somebody would think that it's Celine. They would think it's Givenchy. They would think it's a French brand. Now, I have a French taste, but I ain't crazy, all right? I'm not going to have my made there because I already know how it's going to go. So I make my goods in China because I want to be able to give my consumer a more competitive price. And I know that's the place that I can do that. But it has nothing to do with being cheap. If you are a good designer, you know great quality, and you are good enough at your technical design, you can make the same thing. My bags are not made in mass manufacturing warehouses. They are made by individual artisans. One technician touches this one bag from start to finish. And you can tell because the detailing is extremely fine. And of course, it's unique and beautiful. I have gone to China 3 to 4 times a year for 10 years straight. Now I only go about once a year. But every single trip that I have ever taken, I walk away with a wealth of knowledge all the time. And the first thing that I've always noticed about the Chinese culture is that they are incredibly into details. Every small, minute thing matters. And that's perfect for me because I'm a Cancer and I love details. We need to also remember that the Chinese culture is 4,000 years old. Their dynasties go back to 1600 BCE, and some of the same skills that they had in 1600 BCE, they still utilize today. What does that tell you? That means if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They know what they're doing, and they get bad PR as constantly being told that they have things that are cheap. And yes, they do. They absolutely have a plethora of things that are cheap. But a lot of those cheap items are because of their clients. Their clients are people who want mass manufactured products. They care more about volume than they do quality control. I would say someone like Forever 21, H&M, Shein, Level Clothing, they're not using mulberry silk, they're going to use polyester. They're not using viscose, they're going to use a nylon blend, right? So they're not using the most premium quality. They're using run-of-the-mill stuff, and their objective is just to get as many out there as they possibly can. The reason why I showed this picture is this was on my first trip to China, and I remember going exploring, and I walked by and I saw all these vases and I was just blown away. It doesn't look like it from this photo, but they're about, this smaller one here is probably about 5.5 feet tall. It was almost at my eye level, and I'm 5'10". So it's very large. And every single one of these were hand painted. And I asked the guy, I said, how much? And so he writes on the calculator and he shows me that it was $10,000. Now you would think this is in China. Why is it $10,000? Because this is their trade. This is what they do. These are not made by a machine. These are handmade porcelain. Do you not realize that the best porcelain in the world comes from where? Who? Huh? China. Same thing with silk. I mean, we can go on and on about the different products that they have within their country that are often sought after, but it's really sad that people constantly forget that they are an actual legacy dynasty of people who care about details. Once upon a time, I used to design glass ornaments, and I loved it. I thought it was the most fascinating thing ever. And when I was visiting this factory, I fell in love with the artistry of glass making. It really is like nothing else. And I remember thinking to myself, we could never be America, a mass manufacturing country like this, because we don't have enough people that actually care to learn the art form. It's not just a job. You actually need to be a creative person, but I digress. So anyway, I'm in this factory and I look over and I see these master cartons stacked up to the left and they all say Dior. And I thought, like Dior? And I look over to the right and I see these little white boxes. And on the side of the white boxes, it says Christian Dior Paris. And I said, what is this? And she said, oh, Karika, that is for Christian Dior, is our client. I said, you're what? And she said, yes, we make ornaments for Christian Dior. They give them away as gifts, holiday gifts. And I was like, really? That is so interesting. Because they're going to be out here talking about we are the best, we're up here, blah, blah, blah. But then you're utilizing Chinese labor and you lie and don't tell people. I also noticed that it's a really big popular trend on websites. You will see this all the time where somebody will write imported. When it says country of origin, it says imported, or PRC, which stands for People's Republic of China. You're ashamed to say China? Did you know that the Great Wall of China is 13,171 feet long? It goes all the way from China into Russia, built by hand. It's incredible. They really are an amazing, talented, advanced culture of people. I'm always blown away with their new construction, like some of the buildings that they have that I'm just blown away. I'm like, they are living so far in advance and everybody in America thinks that they're this shit ass place. I'm like, but you need to go over there and take a visit. Actually, some of you should stay here. That's okay. Some of you don't need to go. But if you do go, make sure that you fly business. Do not fly economy. I do not recommend. And also, if you ever go to China, do not, I repeat, do not drink Chinese Red Bull. You will be up for 3 days, but the espresso is good. The moral of the story is a lot of these luxury companies utilize Chinese labor and they just slap their name on it. And you have been conditioned to thinking that anything that says China is less than, when in reality, a lot of your luxury goods are in fact made in China. You're welcome.
So where can you shop if you're trying to skip the tariffs and the markup? Here are some options. Dhgate and Alibaba. Look for highly rated suppliers and verified factories. Taobao with a buying agent. Insanely cheap and high quality, but you'll need a proxy. China's duty-free zones. Cities like Hainan now offer luxury shopping at reduced prices for foreigners. Direct from factory stores on TikTok Shop or Instagram Shops. Many of them ship internationally and cut out the luxury label middleman. This isn't about promoting knockoffs. It's about transparency, value, and calling out manipulation. We're entering a new era, besties. An era where consumers are more informed, more global, and way less tolerant of BS. If luxury brands want to keep the illusion alive, they're going to have to do better than $5,000 for a canvas tote. China exposing this? It's not just petty, it's powerful. It's a reminder that the luxury world is built on marketing, not magic. And you, my stylish besties, deserve to know where your money is going. That's it for today's tea spill. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you love rage-fueled capitalism takedowns and supply chain gossip. Let me know in the comments. Would you travel to China to skip the markup and get your dream bag for a fraction of the price? Or do you think the label still matters? Until next time, keep your wallets full and your BS detectors sharper than ever. Adios, besties. Nail polish medium dark skin tone sparkles.